So yesterday I was thinking about who is the hardest hitting 145 pounder, and I still don't really know. Like, there's a lot of good names out there. I'm gonna name some and see like who is really the hardest hitting 145 pounder. I'll start out with McGregor. McGregor was pretty cool. Like, he knocked people out, but like he knocked out Aldo in like 15 seconds, something like that, something crazy like that. So that was pretty impressive. Looking at his finishes, he's kind of a TKO merchant. I'm not gonna cap with you. Like, he's not really putting people out cold like that. Like, they're not moving. Other than the Aldo one, which was really impressive again, but like he still needed follow-up shots to put him out, so I don't know. Plus the Dustin Poirier one was more of a TKO, so I don't know, bro. Like, he's a little too TKO than like finishing guys. What I mean by finishing guys is like they're out cold, he ain't moving type finishing. He's not doing that to people like that. So the Aldo one is basically his whole finishing, basically, that was out cold, and even then he still needed follow-up shots to finish him. So I don't know, a little bit too much TKOs, because he puts people down, but like he doesn't really finish them like that. So I don't know if I could put as the hardest hitting 145 pounder. Next one, Josh Emmett. He put some people out cold, but like he's too inconsistent with his out coldness. Like, who he really put out? Bryce Mitchell? That's not that impressive. And like the last time he got one of those was like forever ago. So like he's kind of a journeyman as well. That doesn't really matter when it comes to hardest hitting 145 pounder, but like his finishes are too inconsistent when they're happening, you know? Like his last finish was like Bryce Mitchell, okay, that was his most recent one, and then like Ricardo Lamas and I think Michael Johnson, and that was like 2018, 2019. That was like forever ago, the last time he ever got a finish. So I can't put him that up there. So like he's too inconsistent with his finishes, and he's not getting them enough. And who has he really knocked down forever ago, you know? So I don't think he could be the hardest hitting 145 pounder. So we have to move on to the next person, Ilia Topuria. Like, bro just put out Max Holloway. That's really impressive because nobody has done that. But like, other than that, who did he really put out? Like, he hasn't put out really that many other people. And even the Max Holloway finish, it was more of like he didn't put them out cold, but he finished them though. But it wasn't out cold. It wasn't like the most brutal things you ever seen. Like, he's, oh shoot, Max Holloway ain't moving. He didn't do that. He also couldn't put out Bryce. He couldn't put out Bryce Mitchell. Come on. Especially when Emmett did it already. Like, I don't know if he's the hardest hitting 140 pounder. Also, like, even like in some of his finishes, like the Damon Jackson finish, it was more a body shot TKO. He is kind of like a body shot merchant as well. Like, he's just playing these guys out because of the body shots. But I'm not gonna discredit, because he's one of my favorite fighters and I like his style. He's very cool. So like, he's at least getting finishes, so I respect that. But like, I don't know if he's the hardest hitting 145 pounder. I feel like he's the most effective at it, but I don't know if he's the hardest hitter. Then again, a lot of these hardest hitters 145 pounder, they ain't really putting a lot of people out cold. I just realized that. Well, like, it does not matter. It does not matter. But yeah, I feel like Ilya's more effective, but I don't think he's the hardest hitting 145 pounder. You know who really is? I'm gonna tell you right now. You're not gonna expect it. Jeremy Stephens, bro. Jeremy Stephens is the hardest hitting 145 pounder. You can't change my mind otherwise. And you're gonna say, but Ilya knocked out Max Holloway. That's pretty impressive. Conor knocked out Aldo or Eddie Alvarez. But like, who cares? Who cares? I don't care. Jeremy Stephens was putting people out cold, unlike these heathens. Like, look at the Josh Emmett finish. Ilya couldn't do that. And look, everybody's gonna say, oh, but like Josh Emmett has the most iron chin ever, and freaking Jeremy Stephens put him out. Like, that's gotta be impressive somewhat. Like, Jeremy Stephens literally put him out cold. He didn't need to go like 5 rounds like Ilya did. McGregor is never doing that. I don't care what you guys say. So yeah, Jeremy Stephens is the hardest hitting 145 pounder. If you disagree, then you're wrong. You're obviously wrong. He also sparked RDA. That's real impressive. I don't care. That was a baby RDA. Chin doesn't really age like that. And that was a better chin. Technically, if we're going technically, it was a better chin RDA. So it does not matter how young he was. Plus, he broke Eddie Alvarez's jaw recently. Come on, bro. He's the hardest hitting 145 pounder. He's going up in weight and putting people out cold at 155. He also made Max Holloway terrified on the feet. He made Max Holloway into a grappler. I don't know if you guys ever watched that fight against Max Holloway. He had him terrified. He literally had Max Holloway scared to engage. He literally had to shoot in certain moments, bro. Like, we talk about Max Holloway being like a really output guy. He was not that output against Jeremy Stephens. You want to know why? He was terrified of the power. I'm just saying, Jeremy Stephens is the hardest hitting 145 pounder, and you can't prove me otherwise. And that's the end of the statement, and that's the end of the video. If you disagree, bite me. I just realized my statement was weird, and I don't want to end like that. Pause on that statement, and yeah, pretty much Jeremy Stephens is the hardest hitting 145 pounder, and you can't disagree because I said so.